Hi guys, DevilHunterXYZ. Today this is another movie review. Earlier went to see the new Taken 2 with Liam Neeson, and I gotta say, overall the movie was pretty decent. I made the same decency as like the first movie. So if you're into like those action movies and shooters, I think this would be a good movie. In a way, it's kind of a little bit like those Die Hard movies, which I'm also waiting to see the next one. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to try to summarize this entire movie. It starts in Albania, like an outdoor funeral where I guess call them the Albanian mafia, were just mourning over the loss of their comrades. And the leader, I think his name was Mirat Hoxha, he was telling his men that they were going to take revenge on Brian Mills for the loss of their comrades, as they all had families. Then it switches to just switches back to U.S. and shows the Mills family having normal lives. I mean, it was really nothing important that scene. It shows that they're okay. Then a little bit later, it kind of goes into an interrogation scene with Jean-Claude, the guy who was helping Mills out in the first movie. And it was kind of unclear whether or not he actually survived through the interrogation. But they were just trying to get information where Mills was at. So anyway, then it goes back to the U.S. and then it has some kind of incident where Lenore's boyfriend canceled some plans on the family, and I guess after feeling sorry, Brian wanted them to go out to Istanbul to spend time together. And then they're just astonished by the sights they see in Istanbul. Then a little bit later in the movie, Brian and Lenore, they went to get lunch, and I guess Kim decided to stay at the hotel at the pool. I guess she was trying to get her parents back together or something. Anyway, then while they were in the car, Brian notices that another car was following behind him, and it turns out to be the mafia. So then it kind of goes into this big chase scene. Lenore manages to get out of the car and try to blend in with the people in the streets. Then Brian's just left just driving the car through streets, just trying to avoid the mafia. Yeah, and I guess also at the same time he was trying to call Kim to warn her. It all ends in a failure as they both get captured, and right before they both get hauled off into a van, Brian manages to get a hold of Kim and tells her to hide somewhere, that the same men were coming for him. And I guess while they were in the van, Brian was using his skills to kind of pinpoint the exact locations where he was at. Like, he was using time, and he was trying to take on hear on subtle cues and feel the movement of the turns they were taking. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, then it kind of goes into this. Kind of goes into a little bit of a chase scene in the hotel where the dog was trying to avoid the men, and she does manage. And then it kind of goes into a prison scene where Brian is getting interrogated by Murad, and then he was just trying to make him suffer in a way. And then they do bring out Lenore. They nicked her in the neck, and then they were trying to make her bleed out, so just make Brian watch Lenore die in front of her. And I guess also that time Brian manages to get a hold of Kim with a secret phone, and at first he wanted her to go to the embassy just to be safe, to avoid I guess any of the mafia, but she refuses and she wants to help out. So then it kind of goes to this scene where they just try to pinpoint where they were at using Ryan's using his own skills, and I guess also they're actually using grenades to kind of pinpoint like the distance they were at from each other. Anyway, Kim manages to get to the location where they were at, and she manages to slip a gun through the vents above where the cell was at. And then afterwards, it kind of goes into this. Brian manages to escape and helps Lenore try to stop bleeding out, and he leaves her there, and he goes on to a killing spree, that's trying to take down all the guys, and manages to rescue Kim. Then afterwards, they were gonna backtrack to get the mother out of the cell, but unfortunately, the mafia managed to get to her first. So then then afterwards, and it kind of goes to this car scene, another one where it was with Kim and Brian. They were trying to make their way to the embassy, and yeah, they do manage, and then in the end, Kim stays in the embassy while Brian tries to backtrack, like try to memorize exactly where he was at the first time, and it takes him to like a condemned building, and it kind of goes into like another firefight, killing all these guys. Then Lenore does, and they found out that Lenore was just getting interrogated again. And then they managed to move to a different location, and I guess it was like a bathhouse or something. Then Brian kind of works his way through the bathhouse, and then kind of goes to hand-to-hand combat with one of the guys. And of course, in the end, Mills wins the fight, and then he does confront Murad, who at first he tries to make him a deal, saying that he won't kill him if he doesn't go after his family. Of course, he kind of accepts, but in the end, he tries to attack Mills, and so Mills kills him. And I guess after that, he does rescue Lenore, and I guess everything was all happy right now. They kind of show another scene where they go back to the U.S., and it was like 3 weeks later. They're back in the U.S. Kim manages to pass her driver's test, and I guess they celebrated with kind of I guess like a shore, like a ice cream bar, and just celebrating their success, and the fact they were still alive, with Kim's new boyfriend apparently. Some pros I can say about this movie. It has a lot of action, so if you really enjoy action movies, it's a pretty good movie. They have a lot of chase scenes, shooting scenes, fighting scenes. It's just pretty much a complete action movie, like Die Hard. And I guess also I just like those scenes where he actually uses his skills and like this memorization, and it just pinpointing, like using the time to pinpoint where he's at, and using the environment around him. I just think that's pretty cool. Well, my only con I can really say is just I guess the plot itself. You may not notice it at first, but in the end, you kind of realize it's almost kind of just the same concept as the first movie, except instead of Kim getting captured, it was Lenore, and they were just rescuing her. So I guess it was just really just a lack of originality. But it's not as bad as like the Hangover Part 2, where it's just completely a copy and paste pretty much. But still, they could have had some more original scenes, and just more of an original plot. Overall, this movie is pretty decent. I'm not expecting some kind of movie of the year award, but it was a pretty good movie. It had a lot of great action, but it's just a lack of a plot. It kind of gets a little bit down. But at least it was better than Resident Evil, and then that one I was kind of being a little bit generous. So when it comes to scoring for this movie, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's just above average. I mean, this movie's pretty good. Just hold you over until like some other good movies, like maybe the new 007 or the new Die Hard. This is DevilHunterXYZ, and until next time.